Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Win Win Life show. And I am none other than your host, Michelle L. Forbes, the Win Win Life coach. So, just for a moment there, you maybe thought that it froze. No, it didn't. I have decided that I'm going to show up 100% authentically me. Every part, facet, shape, and form of who I am. Yeah, sometimes it may look a bit crazy, funny, firm, serious, but all of that, all the different facets, all the different grooves, avenues, lanes, is who I am. Yes, yes. And I look forward to getting to know you and look forward to you getting to know me as we grow a relationship via this platform. So, this afternoon, we are going to be diving for the remaining of this month on the enemy is resistance. So, just before we do a quick break, I want to ask you, what is that one thing that when this year rolled around in January of 2023 that you decided you're gonna get it done and even gave it a timeline to say, okay, before it hit half of the year, guess what? It's hit half of the year. It's been half of the year. And we've gone into the second half of the year, today being July 2nd, 2023. I'm asking you this afternoon, what is that one thing and where you at with that one thing? We'll come back and we'll dive in as we go further into the enemy is resistance. Stay tuned, be blessed, and if you haven't yet picked up your copy, be sure to pick up your copy of the I Am Loved and Affirmed Gratitude Journal. Yeah, rhythm. Okay, so this afternoon, as I prepared myself to come and just share with you and just pour out and impart into you, as I prepared myself, I began zooming into resistance. And I'm going to touch on some matters concerning that today. And as I touch on them, I'm going to be asking you to take it further as you go through the week. And then when we regroup and gather next week, Sunday, we can look at both our notes and take it even levels further. So, what is that one thing? During the short promo just now, my hope is that you would have taken that time just to go through all the way back to January 2023 and then just go through your mind. That one thing, did I move on it? If I did, where am I now with it? If I didn't, what is my position now with it? Is it something that I still feel pulled or drawn to execute and make it manifest here in this now and present in the here and now? So, what is that one thing? All right. And we're going to be looking at resistance as it pertains to that one thing, or maybe it's more than one thing for some of you that you know that you know that you know you ought to have been executing it by now. But somewhere along the line, the resistance you met has caused you to either just hit the pause button or hit the I don't know about this anymore, or hit the procrastination button, or hit the fear button, or hit the limiting beliefs button, or hit the overwhelm button, or hit the overthinking button. And so it has all contributed to you just being in that one place, in your comfort zone where it feels safe. You have not tried and failed. You have not had the external voices of others to say, I told you it wasn't going to work. But you have just decided that you're going to stand your ground in your comfort zone. This morning, this afternoon, in today's show, I want to provoke you to take another look at that one thing. Take it up, dust it off, and let's go at it again. But go at it from the angle of giving your intentionality to the resistance that comes up within you and how you're going to respond when it comes. So, resistance. Resistance, in defining resistance, one, it is internal. Yes, we have outside resistance, but 9.99 times out of 10, we first and foremost are our number one enemies, not outside, but inside. So resistance, one, we're looking at that resistance. The eyes don't see, you can't touch and say, oh, this is it. But you know that you know that you know that you know there is a fight back, a kickback within. And we're going to touch on what are those occasions when we get that kickback and that fight back within. So resistance, it's internal. And there is this statement that I learned recently. It says, the enemy is a good teacher. And I added to that, the enemy is not only a good teacher, but a good guide and a great compass. The enemy of resistance is a good teacher, it's a good guide, and a great compass. What do you mean by that, Michelle? The enemy of resistance, in it rearing its ugly head within our lives, when we mean to do something, when we mean to have something, when we mean to go somewhere, when we mean to be what we have been purposed to be, called to be, destined to be. When it rears its head, it's always an indication to you and an indication to me that that's the thing. That's the thing. That's the person. That's the place that you ought to go. That's the person you ought to be. That's what you're to be doing. That's what you're to have. When it rears its head, when that thing, when you give your focus and you decide and you make a decision and you even verbalize that decision or write it down, the resistance popping up, it's an indication to you, the compass that is pointing you in the direction. That very thing that you get that kickback with, that's where you're to give your attention, your intentionality, your focus, your energy, to seeing it through to the end. Yes, indeed. So, what are some of the things that we usually see based on the feeling that is within? That comes from resistance. Things that we decide we're gonna do, the person that we decide we're gonna be, the things we decide we're gonna have, the places we decide that we're gonna go. So I listed some things, some of the things that we decide we're gonna do, and resistance rears its head to give you all, all, all the reasons in the book why you can't. To write a book where you decide that you're going to write a book. You have so much within you. You have gone through so much experiences that could be, that would be, that will be a benefit and bring great value to others. And you decide, I'm going to write a book. And the moment you decide that, resistance rears its head to tell you all the reasons why you can't write a book, why you don't know about writing a book, why you should not even go ahead and write a book. Like, what's the end game here in you writing a book? The application of a promotion that came up within your company, and resistance raises its head and tell you all the reasons why you're not going to get through, why you're not the best person, why the others around are more suited for the job, are better qualified. Gives you a million and one reasons why you are not the man or the woman for the job. To start your health and fitness routine, gives you a million and one reasons. Oh, the last time you did it, the last 10 times you did it, the last 100 times you did it, you did not succeed. You fell all the way right back. You put on more weight. Like, what's the point? What's the end game? It makes no sense. So I even bother to start. Starting to volunteer, go and volunteer at a nonprofit of your choice. Gives you all the reasons why they won't let in persons like you. It doesn't fit within your schedule, and on and on and on. Why you shouldn't apply for that job. You saw it. It's something that you've always wanted to do. It fits right within the studies that you have executed and the years of experience that you have. But resistance pops up within. Something like self-esteem telling you, oh no, you'll never measure up. You won't be able to fit the standard to which the caliber of employee that they're looking for that position. I mean, it's not a light job. It's not a light position. It's a job of high authority, and it gives you all the reasons why you should not complete that application. Submit it along with your resume. Resistance from within mind. I haven't mentioned it to anybody outside. We're just looking at that which you're experiencing from the inside, the kickback. Return to school to further your studies. These are the do's, the things that come to you that I want to do this, 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 and resistance pops up and give you all the reasons why you can't do it, why you shouldn't do it, why it makes no sense for you to do it. Then we talk about going, the things, the places that you want to go. There's a counseling session that you've just been meaning, I want to go. I've just feel just overwhelmed and pressured within my mind, and I just need to speak to somebody. I just need to sit down and just let it all out. And you've just been putting it off and saying, oh, people like us don't go to counselors and sit down. We don't go for therapy. And how are people going to look at you? They're going to think that you are cuckoo, you're crazy, you're headed to the nut house. Like, and on and on. Resistance from within. Going to ask some folks for resistance and give resistance, give forgiveness for to those persons. So it's an action required for you to go ask for forgiveness and probably give forgiveness as well. Resistance pops up. They're going to shut you down. They're going to walk away. They're not going to receive you, and on and on and on and on. Resistance from within. Go start the ball rolling with building a business, with starting a business and building a business. Start the ball rolling with getting that job application completed and submitted. Start the ball rolling with applying for that loan that you need to make a move, whether it be in acquisition of a home, in starting or scaling the business, whatever it is that you would need such a loan for. You go start the ball rolling, resistance pops its head. Oh, your credit score is not high enough. The bank will never approve you. And on and on and on. Resistance. Give you all the reasons in the book why you can't go. You shouldn't go. It makes no sense for you to go. B, you have decided that I'm going to be that Christ-like minded individual in all my doing, dealings, being, having, going. And resistance pops its head and say, check your family lineage. Did you see anyone operating, living, and even making the decision that they're going to live a Christ-minded life? Christ-minded like life? No. So why do you think that you are going to do this? Resistance. So you decide, okay, I'm gonna engage in this thing. I'm gonna. And what does a Christ-minded like mind look? One of victory, one where wherever you go, you have just decided, I'm gonna do good. One where you decide, I'm just gonna be about my Father's business in the purpose, the calling, the destiny to which He has appointed for me. One where I'm gonna break all limitations, where I'm gonna break free, break all limitations, and just be all, do all, have all, go all. That when I'm finished, when you're finished, you'll be able to say, it is finished. All that was appointed unto us is finished. But resistance from inside will tell you all the reasons why you're not Christ. Like, why do you even think that you'll be able to accomplish such a thing? Chill yourself, young woman. Chill yourself, young man. You're good where you're at. Like, hello. You go to church, you pray, you read your Bible, you sing your praise song. That's good enough. Resistance from within. When you have made a decision that you're gonna do, you're gonna go, you're gonna be, you're gonna have, you're gonna have that life that God intended for you to have. Nothing missing, nothing broken, nothing wanted. That is what prosperity is. Nothing missing, nothing broken, nothing wanted. There was nothing that Jesus was missing. There was nothing that was broken with Jesus. There was nothing that was wanted with Jesus. And so when you and I make that decision that we're going to have that life, OMG, the resistance starts to kick back from within. Every reason why you can't, every reason why you shouldn't. Look at your family. Look at your mom. Look at your dad. Look at your siblings. Look at your aunts and your uncles. Has anyone ever lived any life like that? To that caliber and degree that you think, that you want, and feel that you should have? I submit to you today that as we experience resistance, and we're talking about that one that we experience from within, I submit to you, and I want you to know as I submit to you, that you can come forth victorious every time. So this is what I would like for you to do as you go through this week. I want you to intentionally set the time. And I want you to be very clear. If you have not yet remembered what is that one thing, I want for you to take the time and remember what is that one thing or things for some of you. And then we're going to talk a little bit more on what we're going to be doing with that one thing or things right after this break. So, what is that one thing? As you identified, you set that time to just walk down memory lane and identify. Remind yourself what is that one thing. For some of you, you don't even remember that in January you had made that decision that you're going to do this, you're going to be this, you're going to have this, you're going to go here. You didn't remember because life happens. This game and this game and this game and this game and this game, and a lot of it were distractions. So as you do, I'm going to ask you to write it down. If it's one, write them down if it's more than one. And then I'm going to ask you now to assess you. What have you done since you decided on the being, this is who you're going to be, this is what you're going to do, this is where you're going to go, this is what you're going to have? What have you done since then? That's two. That's two after you write them all down. Two, what have you done since then? Three, what is the resistance that you would have experienced or been experiencing since you made that decision to be, to go, to do, to have? What is the resistance? What are the resistances? And I'm pretty certain that it's more than one. Our bodies, the brain that God has created for us is designed to keep us safe. And so when we have decided to do a thing that is going to take us from out of that mode, that comfort zone and mode where it's going to require of us to do something we've never done before and put us maybe in an uncompromising position, the kickback is going to come on. It's going to start coming at you. So as you sit and intentionally identify what is that one thing or things, what you have done to date, and what are the resistances that you have been experiencing. Fourth, I want for you to record what your responses have been to the resistance or resistances that would have been coming up. Each time you say, I'm going to do, I'm going to be, I'm going to go, I'm going to have. So one, you identify that thing or things since January that you made a decision concerning. Then two, you write them down. Three, identify what you have done so far. And based on what you have done so far, I want you then to now look at what are the resistances that you would have been experiencing. And then finally, what has been your response, reaction to the resistances that would have arisen from within. As you do that, I want for you to stay right there and just assess the whole matter. assess it all. And I want for you to ask yourself one question as you assess it all. When we regroup and come back next Sunday, we're going to take it further. The one question I want for you to ask yourself is it worth me becoming that person I decided I'm going to be? Is it worth me doing that thing that I had decided I'm going to do? Is it worth me having that thing or things or person or persons that I decided I'm going to have? Is it worth me going to that place or those places that I decided I'm going to go? Is it worth it? And don't rush to answer that question. Take your time and really assess, is it worth it? One of the ways you can know is if it's worth it, yes or no, is does it fall in line with my purpose for living? And as you truthfully, to the best of your ability, answer that question, is it worth it? Then, if it's a yes, I am going to ask you to suit up yourself because it's time to kick right back at resistance and make up in our minds that we're not gonna wave the white flag in surrender. We're not gonna bend. We're not gonna bow. From January to June, maybe we have somewhat, but here on out, there's no waving of white flag to say, I surrender. Suit up and get ready because it's time to kick back and fight. It's time to resist the very resistance that's resisting you, presenting itself to resist you in being that woman or man that you have been called to be, in doing what you know you have been called to do, in having what you know you ought to have, in going where you know you ought to be going. It's time. It absolutely is time. And so as you go through this week, I want to encourage you. I want to implore you and let you know you're in a brand new month. And this 7th month, month of completion, month of perfection, the month of bringing those things to an end, completing, perfecting that thing, those things, that person, that woman, that man, and just embracing you and all of who you were created and called to be, to do, to have, to go. I was so blessed in sharing with you this afternoon, and I look forward to us as we move on ahead within this month, move on ahead within the remaining of these years. I look forward with great anticipation and excitement to see what God has awaiting you and in store for you. What God has awaiting and in store for us. Until we meet and see each other again next week, same time and the same place, right here on the Win-Win Life talk show and podcast. Be blessed. And I just want to remind you guys to go ahead, follow, subscribe, share, like, and leave a comment with us this afternoon. Until we meet and see each other again, au revoir and God bless you.